Hello and welcome to our Modern Workers FAQ. My name's Frankie Finn. The first and most common question that people ask us is what to do if your question isn't actually covered in this FAQ. I just want you to know that we read through all of your emails and questions, so feel free to email us or give us a call and leave us a message, and let's personally speak. We'll do our best to answer it. The second most common question we see is how long does it normally take to see results? It's kind of a loaded question because we're not strictly an SEO firm, like a lot of people do internet marketing, and even though a large part of what we do is internet marketing, it's not exclusive to that. So there's two things we're always doing, and one is promoting you offline, and the second is promoting you through the internet. But both of them tend to snowball and get bigger as they go. The reason the internet part of it is nobody searches past the first page, for example. I mean, just think of if you're searching, say, some news event, if you don't find it on the first event, you change what you're typing. You don't keep on going to the second, third, fourth page. And most people would say it kind of works the same way. So having said that, there's more of like an exponential effect. It gets better as we go on the internet side. The offline stuff tends to be more immediately impactful and more steady and more subtle. So it's a bit of a tricky question in general. And it's complicated by the fact that there's two simultaneous marketing solutions going on. But in general, I'd say about 3 to 6 months is typical for when you see the real results and you notice people coming in off the street that wouldn't otherwise have been your customers. So it does take a little bit of time to get our marketing strategies going. It can take longer if you're in a really tough competitive area, like if you're in New York City. That's harder to do than, if you're in Boise, Idaho. It's just the way it goes, right? There's a different amount of work that goes into each. The more competition there is, the longer the internet side of it tends to take, but the faster the real life stuff tends to work. But when we take you on as a client in any event, we give you real life, realistic estimates of what it's going to take and what you're going to see. I don't want to give you guys a bunch of BS that isn't practical. So if it's going to take us 90 days for you to start seeing real people coming in the door, then I'll tell you right up front, our estimate is 90 days. And those, even though there's a little bit of leeway, you can basically take that to the bank. Another question is, because we do this online, people ask us, I'm not, or basically say, I'm not comfortable giving my money over the internet to someone I don't know. So our response is simply, you're absolutely crazy. No, I'm just kidding. But in all actuality, it's a big concern. And remember that we are real people and we go through all your stuff. One of the things I learned when I was first outsourcing jobs to different parts of the world, I was basically worried about losing everything myself. I found out that when you incorporate two basic elements, that your money will be basically 100% protected. This is what I found out through my try and tested method. Basically, the first thing you should do is our billing is done through PayPal. And the reason why we use PayPal is because PayPal has a 45-day refund policy, which means, if you give us your first payment and we don't do anything and you don't see any action, you don't speak with us and you don't feel like anything's being done, you still have 45 days to get your money back. And secondly, the other thing that I found was to use your credit card when purchasing through PayPal. PayPal, you don't actually have to have an account to purchase. It makes it easier if you sign up for one, so you don't have to retype your information every time. But you don't have to. It's just an independent third-party processor. But they're really, really reputable. But if you combine that with using a credit card that has some sort of insurance plan on it that allows you to refund any sort of fraudulent purchases, you're basically double protected and you can't lose. So what we urge you to do is both of those as well, and speak with us. See if what we're going to offer you makes sense for you. Obviously, it's not for everybody, but trust is earned, and we'd like to earn your trust by doing it the old-fashioned way, by showing you that there's a reason to trust us. Can you speak to somebody personally before we go? That's another question. It kind of ties into the first. It's a great question, and it's probably more common than you might think. Of course, you can and should call us or email us first. I understand that, not everything you're thinking of will be on a website. Sometimes you need the comfort of knowing who you work with. We spend probably about 90% of the day with clients. So the phone numbers we have on our site are mainly for voicemail and scheduling times. So make sure to leave us a message. Once you become a client, obviously we keep in regular contact, and you can reach us anytime. But for new client sort of inquiries, we try to not take time away from our paying clients. That's our main strategy. Another question is, do you need to sign a contract? No. I mean, if it's not a win-win situation for everyone where you end up making money off of us, why would we want you to stay? I mean, our goal is to basically sell you money at a discount where you pay us a set fee per month and we bring you 5 to 10 times that amount or even more in clients and profits to your business. So the contracts are really a way of just keeping you if you're not happy. So I think if you have realistic expectations of how long it's going to take to start really seeing results, and we create win-win situations, then it ends up being worth it for you. Some people ask, why isn't this cheaper? Some people feel $1,000 a month is a lot. I don't personally, based on the fact that what you get for it is much higher and greater value in new clients. But it's a fair question, and really, just like cars or houses, there's a lot of work that goes into building a car or a house, right? So the actual cost isn't the fact that it's a lot of steel or a lot of wood or a lot of concrete, even though that is involved. But the real cost is the labor cost. It's intensive to build a strategic marketing plan. I mean, there are some companies that charge a lot more for this, and there's some who are cheaper as well. We like to think we charge the least amount we can humanly possibly offer to give you for your best results. I mean, if we actually go too cheap, it's actually harder to service you, because what we end up getting is we attract, sort of the lowest rung of employees at our own business, and we want to make sure that everything we do is all about quality and at the end of the day, results. So, like I said, it's money at a discount in a sense that it's like what a financial planner would give you, right? Even though a financial planner might charge you 4% on your investments, your return is much greater, right? You still benefit the most. Having steady new business every month is a big, big part of success in this kind of economy and market. How will you know if it's working? That's actually an interesting question, because a lot of our clients, they notice that all of a sudden twice as many people come in off the street, but those people don't necessarily say, I found your ad, I saw your ad, I saw you guys on the internet. But the biggest thing is you should have a rough idea of where your current steady client base is. I mean, when you think about, especially when it comes to the internet side of it, when you think of how most people search online, they search something out, and if they don't find what they're looking for, they don't keep going 3, 4, 5 pages into the search results. They just type in something new and try again. So in that way, the top sites tend to get exponentially more phone calls in business than the bottom sites, right? So on the internet side of it, that way, it can be a little slow out of the gate, and you probably, even in some of the easier stuff, you won't notice anything at all for 30 days, other than we'll show you that your ranking is moving. You'll see that. But in terms of actual new tangible business, the internet side will yield probably nothing. But once the online traffic hits, it's virtually impossible not to know. I mean, you'll just have people walking in and off the street that wouldn't have otherwise found you. Having said that, we're more than just SEO people. We like to give you real-life marketing strategies that can be employed in your business from day one, using some, I wouldn't say non-traditional, but some ways that are proven to be more effective than what everybody else is doing, because there's a lot of studies that show people have something called ad blindness, because the average person is hit with 3,000 daily advertisements. So if you don't position your ad as different and attention grabbing, it really doesn't matter what it says. It's not going to achieve the results you're looking for. Another question we get is, what is search engine optimization, or SEO for short? It's a commonly used acronym in the business. Now, keep in mind, we're a real-life marketing firm. But having said that, what we found is that over 2/3 of potential customers are looking for a new business online. And so when they go and hit a search engine, the sites that appear at the top they're put there for no accident, and they tend to get exponentially more business than everybody else behind them. In fact, the number one site, for example, gets something like 45% of all the clicks. So, I mean, they almost have half the market, the number one site for a given keyword, compared to everybody else who's trying to make money on the internet for that same term. So our goal is to bring you real life results, but because such a big part of what we do is online, the process of bringing you to the forefront of a search engine to move you up so that people come in off the street is called search engine optimization, or SEO. And what it boils down to is Google and other search engines tend to look more at what other sites are saying about you rather than your own site individually. That isn't to say what's on your own site isn't important, but how they determine your importance is actually based on what other people are saying. For example, simple example, if you have a site on hardware, you're a hardware store in Detroit. That's my home area. So you've got a hardware store in Detroit, and there's another hardware store down the street, and you search on Google for hardware store Detroit, and you find out they're way higher than you. When you look into it, you might find out that they had a news story in the Detroit Free Press or a local newspaper. So which one of those is more likely to be trusted according to Google? They can't actually tell from spidering your page. It's a computer algorithm which one of your hardware stores is more trustworthy. So they base it on the fact that if one has had some sort of reputable mention, that they're more likely to be trusted. So I mean, that's a simplified version of SEO, but what we do is basically produce a comprehensive marketing plan that gets you coverage in these places so that you ultimately move up in the search engine. How are we different? Well, first of all, we're not an SEO firm. I mean, even though it's a big part of our business, a lot of people come in and they're looking for someone just to manage their internet business. Now, don't get me wrong, we're really, really good at that. But we simply set out to find new ways to positively increase your ROI without breaking the bank. And we offer plenty of real-life offline marketing plans as well. So when you're looking at what to do, I mean, we really are good at the SEO, but there's a lot more to it. There's strategic joint ventures and creating situations where you can create joint ventures with very complementary businesses. I don't want to say more than that without giving out too much of the secret sauce, but if you have a specific question on that, feel free to ask us. Another question we get is, what do I get for my money specifically? Typically, you'd get about 50 to 100 hours per month of full dedicated service. The reason there's a variance by month is because, from our perspective, when you set up a marketing campaign, any marketing campaign, whether it's online or offline, there's always more front-end work. So in some of the front-end months, we put in a lot more time than that, 250 hours and so on. And you get really, really cheap billable service in the end. But obviously we want you to see results. But of course, once the marketing campaigns are out there and performing, there's still maintenance work involved, but it's much less significant than having the front-end work. So the hours vary, but 50 to 100 hours of full dedicated service for your business is typically what you would get. People ask us all the time if we do just temporary consulting, and if so, what does it cost? To be honest, we prefer not to. I mean, we like long-term partners that we can grow and prosper for a long time. However, I mean, if you've got a project that is specifically a short-term marketing, or it's a product launch, like an internet product launch or a real-life product launch, we can accommodate. Send us the details, and we can let you know if it's something we would consider. Can't really say more than that. Some people ask us, do we work with national and international businesses or just local? We prefer to work with local businesses because in a sense, a lot of the large corporations are kind of heartless mega corporations that are not our forte. I mean, we certainly can increase their business as well, but a lot of the more local businesses have a direct sort of control over what type of clients they're going to get and how they manage them. And if things aren't going, if they're not actively taking care of their clients, they can easily make a change. As on a corporate level, that's much harder to do. However, there are exceptions. If you feel like you provide exceptional service and quality to your customers, we can come up with a custom quote. I mean, our bottom line is we just don't have the time and the resources to take on everybody. It's very not a lot of people understand marketing. It's a skilled sort of labor job, and so as a result, we can only take on so many people. So you'd have to prove to us that you definitely take care of your customers, because we just prefer to work with those kind of people. But send us the details of your project, and we'll see what we can do. And of course, one thing people ask is what kind of stuff is on your free mailing list. I know it sounds probably a little too good to be true, but it's just free, useful marketing content. We know that not every business owner has the money in their budget to afford our services, so we just like to help. Obviously, especially in this economy, not everybody can put aside $1,000 a month just for marketing, especially because we understand that there's directories and phone books and newspapers, and more often than not, it's not like you're just spending $1,000 per month for us. It can really tax your whole profit and loss statement. So the value's certainly there. I mean, obviously we do what we do for a reason, but it doesn't work for everybody. So our simple reasoning is provide you really, really good, useful, free stuff that can actually directly impact both practical and theory, so you understand what you're doing and then how to implement it. And the reason we just want the content to be useful enough that you'll go and tell fellow business owners, and perhaps down the road it leads to more new business for us. But even if it doesn't, if you're actively trying to take care of your customers, then these are the kind of things you're looking at. So it ultimately fits in line with our goals and what we stand for, anyways. So even if it doesn't, it helps provide a better experience for your customers, and we feel like if it's been useful in some way. At the end of the day, the internet is supposed to be a way to connect people, not push them farther away. And so our goal is, to connect with various like-minded entrepreneurs. If you have any other last-minute questions that don't meet anything here that's been discussed, what I'd recommend is just send us an email, or if not, give us a call and leave us a message, and we'll get in touch with you as soon as possible. Thanks a lot for watching this FAQ.